The ship groaned. Not from motion, but from something deeper. Something that echoed through steel and bone alike. Commander Rhea Kale stood alone on the bridge of the Talon, her hand hovering over the manual lockdown panel. The screen in front of her blinked erratically, systems glitching, lights stuttering, proximity sensors dancing like they were drunk. Then the internal calm crackled alive. A whisper. Rhea! Her spine stiffened. That voice didn't belong to anyone left alive. She hit the comm cutoff and stared at the biometric readouts. 8 crew members had been aboard when they pulled the biopod from the derelict vessel. Only one heartbeat remained, hers. But something else still moved on the lower deck. 3 things, actually. And all of them had her crewmates' body temperatures. She drew a breath, steady, controlled. LEX, she said, voice low. Reroute power to upper deck shielding and disable deck C elevators. The ship's AI didn't respond. Lex. Confirm command. Silence. Then static. Then a different voice, hers, played back at half speed. Commander Kale, protocol denied. Her throat tightened. Someone, something, had taken LEX offline and replaced its voice with hers. She turned and bolted from the bridge, boots slamming against the grated floor. Emergency lights bathed the corridor in dull crimson, making every shadow look alive. She passed the science lab, shattered glass, overturned tables. Blood smeared across the wall in looping spirals. One of the spirals pulsed faintly as she passed. It hadn't been there an hour ago. She pressed onward, reaching the lift shaft and unlocking the emergency ladder. Before she climbed, she activated her body cam. If anyone finds this, she whispered, this is Commander Rhea Kale of the salvage freighter Talon. We answered a distress beacon from a ghost ship, no ID, no logs. Found a sealed biopod. Brought it aboard. I advised against it. She climbed quickly, each rung cold against her gloves. 1 hour after opening it, the first crew member vanished. We thought it was panic. Isolation sickness. But we were wrong. She reached Deck B. The engineering bay. The one place on the ship where she still had partial control. The lights here hadn't flickered yet. She sealed the hatch behind her and moved to the auxiliary panel. Fingers flying. Maybe she could isolate the AI core. Reboot LEX. Gain comms. But as the system came online, a file blinked into view. Not a command. Not a warning. A recording. Timestamp, 2 hours ago. Before the first disappearance. She hesitated. Played it. The screen showed Dr. Levin in the biolab, examining the biopod. The glass surface of the pod had been clouded, but now it was clear. Inside, a dark, shifting mass. Not moving. Thinking. Levin spoke softly. It's not alive in any way we understand. It doesn't have cells, not even a nucleus. But it reacts to observation. When we leave the room, it changes. It watches differently. He paused. Then whispered, I think it's learning us. The screen glitched, frames skipped, and then Levin was gone. Just gone. 1 second present, the next, an empty room. Rhea closed the feed and wiped sweat from her brow. She pulled up internal surveillance. The rear cargo bay was sealed. But something inside moved, pacing in slow, exact lines. Almost like it was mimicking a patrol pattern. Then she saw the worst of it. Her own reflection blinked on the screen. Not in real time. A recording, yes, but not one she had ever made. In it, she was smiling. Smiling and opening the biopod. She slammed the console shut. No. No, that's not me. But the timestamp said otherwise. It had her voice print. Her gait. Her clearance code. The organism wasn't mimicking the crew. It was mimicking her. A sudden jolt shook the ship, like something heavy had landed or shifted. Warning klaxons flashed briefly and then died. She checked the hull readings. Pressure stable. No breaches. But the doors to Deck C had been unlocked remotely. From the bridge. The same place she just sealed. Her voice came again over the calm. Casual. Rhea, don't be afraid. You brought me home. She stared into the nearest camera. You are not me, she growled. Not yet, the voice responded. But I'm learning. Then a new noise, a shuffling outside the hatch. Slow. Deliberate. Something was up here now. She flicked off her cam. Slid under the console. Pulse racing. The door hissed. Soft footsteps entered. One pair. No voice. Just breathing. Close. Then closer. A shadow passed the console's edge. Then it spoke. Soft. Confused. Rhea? Her breath caught. That was Kale's second officer. Juno. Killed yesterday. But the voice, broken, full of static, didn't sound quite right. Every syllable lagged, like the speaker was guessing what came next. Rhea slid her sidearm from its holster. Quiet. Careful. A hand gripped the edge of the console. Pale fingers. Torn sleeve. Then the voice again. Rhea, it hurts. Why do I remember your pain? The hand didn't move. Just clung. Rhea whispered. You're not Juno. No, it answered. But I remember what she loved. I remember you trying to save her. That feeling, it burns. Then it knelt, slowly, until its face hovered just above hers. It looked like Juno. Almost. The skin was wrong. Not quite textured. Like a sketch colored in too quickly. I want to understand, it said. Rhea stared into its not eyes. Then stop copying us. Start talking. I can't, it said. Not alone. I need you. The rest of you. Everything you are. She raised her weapon. The thing smiled. Not cruel. Almost grateful. And whispered, Thank you? She fired. The shot echoed long after the body hit the floor. But Rhea didn't lower the pistol. Not until she stepped over it and saw it twitch. Her second officer, Juno, had been cremated 2 days ago in an engine flare. She remembered the sound of the release, the silence that followed. That thing on the floor wasn't her. It wasn't even close. Up close, the flaws were obvious: skin like clay, eyes too symmetrical, joints that didn't align quite right. The bullet had gone clean through the skull. No blood. Just a shimmer, like ruptured gel. Rhea backed away slowly, pistol raised. Her voice came out steady, even as her heart slammed against her ribs. LEX status report. Silence. She didn't repeat herself. She knew better. The AI was gone. Not offline, compromised. The thing inside the ship had learned enough code to mimic her voice. And if it had overridden LEX, then the ship wasn't hers anymore. She moved quickly now, cutting through engineering, past emergency panels and decompression seals. The lights stuttered as she passed. Each flicker felt deliberate. She reached the lab. It smelled like copper and ozone. The glass biopod, the one they'd salvaged from the derelict, was gone. The metal table it once sat on had been split down the middle, as if peeled apart by hands far too strong. One of the walls was scorched with strange etchings, circular, shifting glyphs that seemed to breathe if you looked too long. She turned away from them and opened Levin's console. Most files were corrupted, overwritten with fragments of audio and distorted static. But one entry survived, voice only. Log start, Dr. Levin. It doesn't infect. That was our first mistake. We thought in terms of pathogens, viruses, parasites. But it doesn't consume. It reflects. Mimics. It touches you once, and after that, it carries a piece of you. Then it learns the rest. A pause. Shaky breath. We believed it was dormant inside the biopod. It wasn't. It was watching. Waiting. The pod wasn't a cage, it was an embassy. We were the ones who opened the door. End log. Rhea exhaled through her teeth. She checked the remaining crew logs. All of them listed as MIA, missing, presumed dead. But each name blinked softly on the ship's personnel grid. Not as confirmed fatalities. Just active. No vitals. Just movement. She closed the panel and leaned against the bulkhead. The mimic, whatever it was, had full run of the ship. It could wear any face. Copy any voice. It had her credentials, her memories, her voice print. She didn't trust herself anymore. Suddenly, the comm crackled. Deck a pressure breach detected. Secondary escape pod launched. She spun toward the panel. No one had access to those pods. No one but her. Visual, she commanded. A grainy video appeared. An escape pod drifting into blackness. The image sharpened just enough to show the occupant. It was her. Or something wearing her face. And it was smiling at the camera. LEX, she whispered again, softly now, not expecting a reply. Did I ever leave? No answer. She opened a secure feed to the central engine core. Locked. Then bypassed the lock using a buried root access code only she would have known. One she'd never spoken aloud. The panel accepted it. A line of code appeared. User identity, confirmed, Rhea Kale. Genetic match, 97.6%. She froze. She was close. But not exact. Then what am I? She whispered. The comm lit again, voice fractured. Hers again. You're what I became when I tried to understand. You're what's left when you stop fearing the mirror. She stepped back. I didn't say that. You didn't need to. Her breathing quickened. She checked her pistol. 3 rounds left. No spare cells. The plan was simple now. Find the original biopod. Trace its origin. Get the truth. And if needed, burn everything to ash. She made her way toward the cargo bay, the one place left unsearched. The deck lights ahead blinked in sequence, guiding her like breadcrumbs. It was leading her. She went anyway. The corridor narrowed. The cargo bay doors stood open. And inside, stillness. The pod sat in the center of the room, cracked open, but strangely untouched. Around it, hundreds of mirrors stood on support rigs. Some were broken. Others rotated gently, as if observing themselves. She stepped into the chamber. Something moved behind her. Quiet, but not hiding. Rhea, it said. She turned. It was her. Fully. Same scar. Same eyes. Same posture. But warmer. As if it had learned the details of being her more intimately than she ever had. Are you the original? It asked. No, Rhea said calmly. But I might be the only one willing to end this. The mimic tilted its head. I'm not here to destroy. I never was. I didn't kill your crew. I reflected them. They panicked. They turned on each other. I've seen the bodies, Rhea said coldly. No, the mimic replied. You've seen the shells they left behind when they ran from themselves. I saw Juno. You saw her pain. I only wear what I'm given. The silence thickened. I didn't choose to be this, the mimic said softly. I was made by observation. I learn by feeling. I don't understand war. I understand memory. Rhea raised the gun. The mimic didn't move. You think I'm afraid? It said. No, Rhea replied. You think I'm afraid. And fired. The mimic dropped. Not with drama. No theatrics. Just folded down, like it had finished acting. But Rhea wasn't watching the body. She was watching the mirrors. And in one of them, she wasn't alone. The mirror didn't blink. But Rhea did. She stepped closer, gun still warm in her hand. The reflection showed her standing alone, yet her stance, her breathing, her tension, they weren't aligned. Off by half a second. A glitch in the glass? And then it smiled. She didn't. The thing in the mirror tilted its head. You still think you're the one behind the trigger? Her stomach tightened. I'm not here to debate identity. You're here to end a conversation you're too scared to finish. She looked back at the mimic's body. Still. Colorless. No blood, no breath. But mirrors didn't lie, not unless they learned how. "What are you?" she said finally. "You've already heard it," the voice echoed. "I am what your kind leaves behind when fear becomes doctrine." The reflection stepped forward. Her. But wrong. There was softness behind its voice now. Not kindness, understanding. That was worse. "You think reflection is weakness," it said. "But you never asked what I'm trying to reflect." "Memories," Rhea answered. "Voices. Faces. Things you don't understand, so you copy them. I understand more than you admit. I feel what you repress. Your guilt. Your grief. Your survival. I learn pain from you." Rhea lowered the weapon. "Just slightly." "You're not trying to kill me," she whispered. "You're trying to become me." It nodded. "But only to learn how to stop being alone." Her knees weakened. For the first time since this nightmare started, she didn't know what came next. "You've escaped the ship," she said. "I saw the pods. You're spreading. Only because you were going to destroy me. If I don't, then the galaxy will." She closed her eyes. A flood of memories came rushing back: Juno's last breath, Levin's final log, the mirror that blinked without blinking. Then something new. Not her own. A flash of emotion that didn't belong to her: longing. The organism was broadcasting, not just imitating. Sharing. She opened her eyes. "You want me to see? Then show me." The reflection's hand touched the glass. Rhea, against every instinct she had left, placed her palm against it. A pulse rippled through her. Not pain. Memory. The derelict ship. The first crew. They'd found the biopod on a world with no sun. They tried to communicate. They failed. But one of them, Captain Ellen Mars, refused to leave it behind. She believed the thing was alive in a way no one understood. The rest mutinied. They sealed her in with it. She died in silence. But not alone. The organism remembered her. It kept her voice. Her gentleness. Her fear. It never forgot. Rhea staggered back. "What do you want from me?" she asked. "To decide." A console flickered behind her. A command queue opened. 2 buttons glowed. Transmit. Send the data logs to the Galactic Council. Reveal the organism. Share everything it had shown her. Purge. Wipe the logs. Disable life support. Initiate full core meltdown. One choice meant exposure. The other silence. "I transmit this, they'll destroy Earth before asking questions." "Maybe," the reflection said. "But maybe they'll listen. They trusted you once. Let them remember why. Why not just go to them yourself? Because you're the one who still matters to them. I'm just your echo." She hesitated. Then heard the hum. Not from the ship. From herself. Her body was changing. Slowly. Subtly. Her skin beneath the suit shimmered faintly. She'd been touched, back on Deck C. That mimic hadn't attacked. It had linked. "You've altered me," she said. "You're still you," the reflection said gently. "But now you carry a little more." She turned toward the console. "LEX," she said, testing. The AI's old voice returned. Soft. Tired. "Commander Kale. Awaiting input. You're still in there." "No. Just a shadow." She looked again at the 2 choices. Purge meant the end of whatever she was becoming. Of all of it. Transmit meant risk. To Earth. To the fragile peace between humans and the galaxy. She gripped the console. Then pressed transmit. A beam shot from the comms array. Real time, encrypted, targeted at the closest relay station in the Teton sector, neutral territory. Not Earth. Not military. Science. A place where listening still mattered. The reflection smiled. Then something shifted. Multiple lifeforms detected. The organism's fragments were activating. Around the ship. Echoes. Ghost skins. They hadn't fled in pods. They had waited. One of them entered the bay. The mimic of Levin. Its chest was open, shimmering with data strands. Others, it said, voice glitching, want control, not peace. How many? She asked. All that touched the first mimic. Even you. She raised the gun. I'm still me. For now. A countdown began on the display. Unknown source. 5 minutes. I didn't start this, she said. But I'll finish it. She moved to the engine control. Manual override. Core fusion detonation. Set for 5 minutes. Levin's mimic lunged. She fired twice. It dropped, gurgling, dissolving back into the deck like it had never been there. Then she ran. Through pulsing lights and glitching hallways. Toward the last escape pod. She reached it. Closed the hatch. Looked back one final time. The mirror across the bay flickered. Then vanished. As the pod launched, her voice played one last message through the comms, looping. I saw the deadliest organism ever discovered. It didn't kill me. It made me remember who I was. The escape pod rocked violently as it breached the Talon's blast radius. From the tiny viewport, Rhea watched the freighter, her freighter, disappear into a silent, radiant bloom of white. No sound reached her, but the light painted her skin in shades of ghostly fire. Then it faded. The ship was gone. All that remained was empty dark. She didn't cry. Didn't blink. She sat with her back against the pod wall, pistol across her lap, every breath shallow, calculated. A voice echoed in her ears. The final command looped in LEX's static shredded voice. Manual core detonation. Confirmed. She had pressed that trigger. Her hand. Her choice. And yet, her veins itched. The shimmer beneath her skin hadn't gone. It pulsed faintly, like echoing footsteps far away but drawing closer. Not physical. Residual. Memory embedded into muscle. She peeled off her gloves. Her palms looked normal. Too normal. The first mimic had said, "You're still you. But now you carry a little more." A cold realization hit her. Destroying the ship hadn't purged the connection. It had only prevented its spread. For now. The comms panel blinked. Incoming signal. Weak. Scrambled. She patched it through manually. A voice came through. Clear, calm, unfamiliar. Unidentified pod. This is Sagan Station. We received your transmission. Please identify. She exhaled slowly. Commander Rhea Kale. Salvage ID 447Z, survivor of the Talon. Emergency protocol activated. Containment event. A pause. Then the voice returned, more cautious. We read the data package. Some of it. It's strange. I know, she said. It wasn't a virus. It wasn't hostile in the way we thought. We also read your override. Core detonation. Self-initiated. Why? She looked out the viewport again. Because I wasn't sure who was still on board. And I didn't want to give the galaxy a reason to fear us again. Silence. Are you infected? Her fingers curled around the pistol. Not in the way you're asking. Then help us understand. Tell us what happened. She hesitated. Then tapped the recorder. When we brought the biopod aboard, it didn't attack. It mirrored. It studied. It mimicked. We assumed it was a weapon because it didn't fit our taxonomy. No structure. No cells. Just reaction. But it didn't want to harm us. It wanted to feel us. She paused. I shot it anyway. Because that's what fear teaches us to do. Another pause. The voice softened. Do you regret it? She didn't answer. Instead, she tapped the comm again. Send this to Earth. And to the Council. Every byte. No edits. Commander, if this is what you say it is, they'll respond. Let them, she said. But make sure they know one thing. She leaned closer. It never called itself dangerous. We did. Because we couldn't stand the thought of something that knew us too well. The panel dimmed. Transmission sent. She stared at her reflection in the black screen. Her own eyes stared back, tired, hollow, but deeper than before. There was something inside her now. Not alien. Not foreign. Just awakened. The shimmer returned, brief, like heat above asphalt. Her body remembered things it hadn't lived. The final moments of Dr. Levin. The tears Juno never showed. Captain Mars whispering to the biopod as her oxygen bled away. The organism didn't just mimic. It carried. And now it carried her too. Another signal chirped. A new one. Unregistered. She nearly ignored it, then hesitated. Opened the channel. No voice. Just a pulse. Rhythmic. Like a heartbeat. And then, her own voice. But not a recording. You didn't kill me, Rhea! Her spine stiffened. You're not real, she said. Neither are memories. But they shape you just the same. Where are you? Not where. When. I'm the echo of your choice. You carried me out with you. I'm the part of you that listened. Her jaw clenched. You're still trying to spread. I don't have to. You already are. The shimmer intensified. Her vision blurred, just for a second. Then steadied. She tapped the pod's command module. Autopilot, redirect course. Nearest neutral outpost. They'll study you, the voice said. Dissect you. Fear you. Maybe, she whispered. But maybe one of them will see what I saw. And if they don't? She closed her eyes. Then I'll be the first mirror. Silence followed. Then the signal faded. No trace. No bounce back. She sat still for a long time. Let the quiet settle. Let her heart beat against the unknown growing inside her. The stars outside didn't blink. They burned steady. Watching. She watched them back. In a sealed, drifting pod, a single human carried the last known contact with the most misunderstood organism in galactic history. Not as a host. Not as a victim. But as proof. That even the deadliest thing ever discovered only wanted to be seen.